How often do you rely on caffeine as an extra boost of energy to start your days? Whether it's from coffee, tea, an energy drink, or even soda, so many people rely on caffeine daily to help them wake up. Caffeine itself is a stimulant that helps excite the central nervous system and causes the brain to release more chemicals. Being a caffeine consumer myself, drinking coffee almost daily, I've taken it upon myself to learn how it really affects my body. So many people consume caffeine daily, and it is always beneficial to know how it really affects people in the long run. Today I'll be discussing some of the positive and negative effects that I have found caffeine has on the body, as well as how to responsibly consume caffeine. I'll be starting out with some of the positive effects I found caffeine has on the human body. For one, caffeine causes people to feel more awake and focused. According to the Cleveland Clinic, caffeine blocks adenosine. Adenosine is a chemical that helps people feel more tired. When less adenosine is being put out, people feel more awake from caffeine. Going further, author Janelle Martel stated that at doses of 200 milligrams, caffeine was shown to help people feel more focused. This is a big reason that athletes rely on caffeine, as it helps them sharpen focus during their events and games. Going further, caffeine does have some health benefits. For example, the Cleveland Clinic stated that caffeine does help with two types of headaches, those being tension headaches and migraines. Caffeine is a vasoconstrictor, meaning it narrows blood vessels. As a result, that reduces the pain that comes from these types of headaches. I'll be moving on to some negative aspects of caffeine. For one, caffeine increases blood pressure and heart rate in many individuals. According to Liam Connolly from UC Davis Health, caffeine is sometimes linked to atrial fibrillation in susceptible individuals. With atrial fibrillation, that causes a rapid increase in heart rate. Going further, caffeine also causes norepinephrine to be released. Norepinephrine is also linked to increased heart rate and blood pressure. As caffeine intake increases, so does heart rate and blood pressure. Another negative aspect that caffeine brings about is that it often causes people to feel more anxious. This is a symptom that is oftentimes more prevalent in people with pre-existing anxiety conditions. According to Sarah Berg from the American Medical Association, caffeine causes the brain to release more chemicals and overall speeds up brain activity as a whole. With that being said, it can cause people to feel more anxiety than they typically would. Going further, the Cleveland Clinic solidifies Sarah Berg's point by stating that many individuals did state to feel more anxious, jittery, and irritable after consuming caffeine. Although there are many positive and negative aspects of caffeine on the human body, there are ways to responsibly consume caffeine. For example, we can limit caffeine intake daily. According to the FDA, 400 milligrams of caffeine is considered a safe dose for most adults. However, medically sensitive groups should be more aware of their caffeine intake and limit it even further. For example, pregnant women should remain below 200 milligrams of caffeine, adolescents should remain below 100 milligrams of caffeine, and children under the age of 12 should avoid caffeine intake altogether if they can. Going further, it is always important to hydrate with caffeine consumption. According to the National Library of Medicine, caffeine is a diuretic, meaning it promotes fluid loss. The Cleveland Clinic further solidifies this point by stating that caffeine gets rid of excess fluid. This is a big reason why it is always important to hydrate with caffeine. As long as we hydrate, it is always possible to counteract the effects of dehydration that caffeine can bring about. Finally, it is always important to read nutrition labels and be sure that we notice when caffeine is contained in certain things we consume. According to the Mayo Clinic, even pain relievers may sometimes contain caffeine. The HelpGuide.org further put this into perspective by stating that even 2 over-the-counter pain relievers can contain as much as 130 milligrams of caffeine, which is as much as a double espresso. Overall, it is always important to read nutrition labels, and it is always better to be safe than sorry. It is clear that caffeine has several positive and negative effects on the body, and it is always important to responsibly consume caffeine. Knowing how to consume caffeine responsibly and balance caffeine intake is important, and it is one of the best ways to minimize the disadvantages and maximize the advantages that caffeine has on the human body.